Hello and welcome to the show. Today is going to be a noisy episode because I'm not in the audio booth, so expect to hear some noise in the background. Today we're going to look at direct response marketing. Now, before I continue, a caveat: direct response marketing or any other kind of marketing for that matter is not my area of specialty. My area of specialty is sales, especially personal selling. So that means what I do best is when you're directly in front of one customer and you guys are having a conversation and it looks like things are not aligning, I'm the guy that you call to help break things down. So if there's a problem with sales communications and sales conversations per se, that's what I fix. But marketing problems, that's not what I fix. But of course, you know that marketing is our mother and then sales is the Pekin. So it still doesn't stop me from giving comments on marketing related stuff every now and then. Now, the reason why we're looking at direct response marketing today is precisely because of the last case study that we did over here on the podcast. If I remember correctly, that was the episode with Spider-Man Peter Parker. If this is your first time of listening to the show, don't worry, it's not the real Spider-Man. I don't deal with fictional superheroes. It's just that when I don't have permission to use people's real names, I talk about the case anyway, and then I just use a code name. So, but still, it gives you guys the opportunity to share from the goodness, from some of the ideas that we toss around. So, Spider-Man Peter Parker, if I remember correctly, the previous episode was a graphic designer based in Lagos who tried reaching out to me with a risk reversal strategy. Only pay for what you like. And I thought it was a bad idea, or rather, it was a good idea but badly executed. And maybe not the best way for him to go around trying to drum up business, because it looked like Peter Parker actually was in need of cash, like now, like quick cash. And this is also a labor intensive strategy, and I think was also going to give him poor returns, given that the pricing that he was quoting was low. Now, if all of this sounds like Greek to you, that's because you haven't listened to the last episode. So listen to the last episode. It's close to 40 minutes, but don't get discouraged because we discussed a lot there. You know, what is a risk reversal strategy? How do you remove friction in the sales process? Friction is just anything that you put that might, annoy people, turn people off, or make it harder for people to become buyers at the end of the day. So, what is risk reversal? How do you remove friction? And then also, how should Spider-Man Peter Parker, excuse me, how should he have done his outreach better? So that's what we did in the episode yesterday. So I wrapped up yesterday's episode by saying that my recommendation was for people who need money now, like you need quick cash, then you shouldn't be doing any of these fancy, complicated outreach strategies, that depend on you showing up the right way in somebody's WhatsApp inbox or Instagram DM or something like that. That what you need to do is direct response marketing. And so that's why we're looking at direct response marketing today. So that's just the background, basically, why we're looking at direct response marketing. But remember, direct response marketing, not my area of specialty. So after you're done listening to this episode, if you hear anything that you like, please consult with a marketing specialist and they will bring you up to speed on what you have to do next. Okay, so before we continue, the shout outs. Today, I'm going to be shouting out Damilare Imole Ayo Fashola, who reached out to me on LinkedIn, as a listener of the show on Spotify. And he likes the podcast because it's highly business packed. So Damilare Imole Ayo Fashola, thank you very much for listening to the show. If you are the child of the man Fashola himself, as the former governor and the former minister, then why don't you hook a brother up, call your popsy and tell him that, look, there's this sharp guy in Abuja, this is his name, he runs this podcast, it looks like he's going to be a very good purveyor of progress, and he's somebody that you should have as part of your crew, so that the next time you're in government, these are the young people that you should be keeping around to help move the country forward. So just call up your popsy, if Fashola is your popsy, and tell him exactly what it is that I have just said right now on the podcast. And hook me up so that I'll come and join you guys and be enjoying all that government money. Then, the second shout out is to Faith Gambus. I hope I'm pronouncing that part right. So Faith is a cinematographer. So she's my sister, my very personal person. You know, making money from behind the camera, creating art, creating beautiful things. So yeah. So she's my person. And she likes the podcast because she says it's insightful. She's also a listener of the podcast on Spotify and who also reached out to me on LinkedIn. So, Damilare and Faith, thank you very much for listening to the podcast. Damilare, if you're related to Fashola, especially if Fashola is your popsy, just call him up, tell him exactly what it is that I said, and let's see how we can hook a brother up. So, so back to direct response marketing. So like in yesterday's episode now, when we're looking at Spider-Man, Peter Parker, I've already told you what it is I recommended the first time. So no need going over all of that. Okay, but I remember in yesterday's episode, I said that what the guy should have done was after reaching out on WhatsApp, he should have tried to do qualification and discovery or elicitation. That's if you listen to the episode about how to sell like a spy, which basically is when you do information gathering. You're trying to figure out the potential customer that you're talking to, who is worth spending much more time with. You should have engaged in conversations to try and figure out who is a person of substance, who is somebody who is cheap, is there a correct person to do business with, or is there somebody looking for Osho free? So those will be how Peter Parker will determine the right kind of person to design for free for. That's if you want to use a land and expand strategy. That is when basically you just anyhow shall enter into an account. Just get the person as a customer first. Then after that, you see how you now try and sell the person on much more expensive services. So that's part of the stuff that we discussed today. That we discussed on yesterday's episode. So if this is the first time listening, go back, listen. It will all make sense. Now, for those of us who have been following from yesterday and the day before, we will now. Okay, well, let's just move straight into direct response marketing. Now, let's define direct response marketing. Like I say on the podcast, the definitions that I give here are not technically precise. So the definition I'm going to give here is just a simple everyday, every woman working definition because I want you guys to understand the main concepts so that you can apply it. So if you want the proper definition, go and check your business books or go and check your website or whatever. You can find the exact definition somewhere. But for the purposes of this show, every single time you hear direct response marketing, it just means any kind of marketing that you do that is designed so that people will answer you now. You want an answer from the client now. Because there's lots of stuff that we put out over on the internet, all kinds of content marketing, all kinds of different kinds of marketing, branded related content that you put out that you're not expecting people to respond to. Like this podcast. I give my contact details at the end of every show and at the beginning. In fact, let me give my contact details now. If you'd love to connect, the phone number is 080-6466-2140. The country code is +234. For those of you who are not Nigerian, then you can hit me up on LinkedIn. The name to look for is Tavishima Ayede. I'm also on YouTube as well. So I do that every single episode, but I do not expect a whole bunch of you to reach out to me because I think on Spotify, I think we're over 2,000 subscribers now. And quite honestly, I'd be overwhelmed if all of you were to reach out to me at the same point in time. So the whole point of the whole point of the podcast is entirely something else. So this is not direct response marketing. This is content marketing. I'm not expecting all of you to hit me up immediately. I'm trying to build a relationship with you guys so that when you guys are ready to take that step to start diagnosing your sales problems or to try and work on one or two things, you pick up the phone and you call me because you've been having a relationship with this guy, over the last 2-3 years. So that's the scope of content marketing. Direct response marketing, on the other hand, is you want the person to answer you now. You want the person to do something. So typically, you want the person to buy something immediately, or you want the person to drop their contact details. Now, the whole point of buying something immediately, well, of course, it's obvious. Buy now so I can make money now. Unlike content marketing, what I'm doing, which is consume the podcast now, and then maybe be my client next year or in 2 years. So you can see that the expectations are different. And let me see. Also the same with the WhatsApp strategy that Spider-Man Peter Parker was using in yesterday's episode. So you might get some, you might not get some. But the whole point of that was land and expand. So try your luck, maybe you can get some clients. But direct response, you want somebody to buy now. If you can't get somebody to buy right now, another option for direct response is to get the person to drop their contact details. And the whole point of contact details is so that you don't have a WhatsApp number, a phone number, an email address, or a physical address. Like in the UK, for instance, where physical address is still part of the mix. Here in Nigeria, we don't really bother with people's addresses anyway. It's not as if we have a reliable address system, and then people move all the time. So if you're going to use address, you just miss road because. Okay, let me give myself as an example. I've been driving since I was 18, and I learned how to drive when I was in Lagos, and I lived on a certain street in Lagos. So the address that is on my driver's license is the address of the place where I lived when I was 18 in Lagos. It's been a couple of decades since then. But the problem is this: every time I go to the Federal Road Safety, and it's time to renew my license, and I say, okay, how far? Let me change the address. By the time they give me all the conditions that are involved, it's not just the money. It's just all the condition, this step, this step, this step, sworn affidavit, I'm like, you know what? Just leave the old address. I'm cool. Just leave the old address. And we'll just renew it like that. And then once in a while, I'm like, hi, but this address is old now. Let me update it with the new address. And then I go and ask them, okay, are we ready to do this thing? And then by the time they give me all the conditions again, I just remember that, okay, there's a reason why I decided to just leave the address, and I just leave it. So because of Niger factor and these sorts of complications, if you want to rely on people's addresses to target them and market to them, you miss road. You find out that you're sending something to an email address where somebody has not lived there for the last 20 something years. So in Niger, address not part of the mix. My own recommendation: don't even bother. If you get phone number, that's good. If you get email address, that's good. Where was I? So that's the whole point of direct response marketing. Get somebody to buy now, so that money will enter your account, or collect contact details now, so that hopefully you will chase them tomorrow, and then money will enter your account next week. So the characteristics of direct response marketing is they give very strong and very clear call to actions. And that's what I love about direct response marketing. Very clear call to action. Buy now. Click here to learn more. Click here to sign up. Click this to download that. As in, it's very, very clear. So direct response done well doesn't give any confusion. The buyer will read the something, is nice and short, and the buyer, the viewer, the audience, whoever it is reading it, the person understands clearly this is the next step. So excuse me, throat infection, still recovering from that. Then sorry about the noise in the background. That's the call to prayer. It's almost 1 o'clock at the time of this recording. Then let's see. So I said that strong call to actions, yes. Buy now, learn more, sign up, click here to download, click here to join community, whatever. Very strong call to action. And whether you're doing direct response marketing or not, it's something that we business people ought to get into the habit of doing. We need to be putting call to actions. Because we write stuff, LinkedIn, Instagram, all kinds of things, but we're not putting any call to action. And we're not putting call to actions. We're not giving instructions for people to do something. We're not sending them somewhere. So, it'll be somehow for you to put calls to action on every single content that you put. But once in a while, you put on your Instagram post, click here to, no, Instagram, let me see. Okay, on Instagram, maybe you're trying to grow your, what are they called? Not subscribers. Followers. If you like what you're reading, follow. Yeah, follow me at. So that could be a call to action. If you like the content you've been receiving so far, follow me on my Instagram handle. That's a call to action. Let's see. What else? If you love the last series that we've done, slide into DMs for a free consultation. That's also a call to action. So, anyhow, that's something we can borrow from direct response marketing people. We should always be putting call to actions in stuff that we put out there, because to be honest, you don't ask and you don't get. So we should learn to ask And don't worry, you will not get overwhelmed because, let's use me again as an example. Every single episode, I give out my phone number and I tell you guys where you can hit me up. But the number of people that hit me up, to be honest, if it's much, will be like, I don't know, 10 people a week. If it is much, if it's been a busy week, maybe 10 people hit me up. And we're at 28,000 downloads. So don't worry, you're not going to be overwhelmed. Don't worry about it, you're not going to be overwhelmed. You have to, how do I put it? If someone like Ebuka, Big Brother, drops his phone number, he'll be overwhelmed. He's on NTA. Big Brother is showing every single weekend. Millions of people watch Big Brother. So even if just 5% of the people follow his call to action, yes, he'll be overwhelmed. But until you get to that level of Ebuka, or who else is a superstar? Who else? Sorry, forgive me. Some of you might even say Ebuka is not a superstar, but I hardly watch TV. So the thing is, I'm not even sure who's reigning right now. But Ebuka, at least I remember him. And then plus, we went to the same school, so we're proud of him. He's a CKC boy. So Ebuka, if you're listening to the show, keep doing your thing. We're proud of you. Holla at your boy. Let's see, where am I? So characteristics now. So direct response marketing, they always do call to action. Then another thing that direct response people do is they focus on ROI. ROI just means return on investment. That just means how much money am I getting back. So last week I did marketing campaign. I dropped 100k. How much money did I make back? Okay, I only made back 150. Was that good? Was that bad? So direct response marketers, they're always thinking Naira and Kobo. Very, very hard, very, very precise. Like, I want money now. If I'm dropping 1 Naira, I expect to see 1 Naira 20 Kobo to come back. That kind of thing. So that's also a nice focus that we can take as well for our businesses. Then direct response marketers, they're obsessed about targeting. So they're the ones that always worry about customer segments and trying to create unique custom messaging for each segment. So people like you and me, with general marketing idea, if we're trying to put up something on LinkedIn or on Instagram or whatever, we'll just make it broad. But direct response marketers like, no. We need to make this thing much more targeted. We need to make this post for 50 to 60-year-old women living between Ikeja and Ijesha, and who like Owambe every Saturday. So their stuff is targeted like that. And of course, it has to be targeted, because if at the end of the day you're going to say buy now, you want to be sure that the offer is relevant to a specific person and that the offer has been communicated to that person. That is what increases your chances of buying now. So if you create a post and the post is around, let me think of something. Okay, eyeshadow. The post is around the eyeshadow, and then you put buy now. But the problem is the people who receive all that messaging and the advertisements are, let's say, people like me. Of course, obviously, I don't use eyeshadow. So for a direct response marketer, you have wasted your money. If you paid Zuckerberg 700 Naira for that advert to be showed to me, you will get 0. On the other hand, if it's eyeliner and the call to action is buy now, but it reaches my wife, female listeners of this show, who else? People that use eyeliner. Then the possibility that the 700 Naira that you pay to Zuckerberg per advertisement, the chances that it will convert into business at the end of the day is much more, goes up. So that's why direct marketers, they're very, very particular about this whole thing, about targeting. But this is stuff that we can do in our business, Isha. As we're putting out stuff, let's put calls to action. Let's ask people to do something, engage with us somehow, become a part of our community, somehow, as in any which way, we should be asking for something. Let's make it a good habit. Let's also focus on on the return of investment. For every 5 Naira that we drop, how much are we getting back? If we're dropping 5 Naira and we're getting 3 Naira in return, then something is not working. If we're dropping 5 Naira and we're getting 7, 8 Naira, okay, something is working, because you're getting 3 Naira profits on every 5 Naira that you drop. So we also should be thinking that way as well. And then make sure that our marketing is targeted, and our messaging is targeted as well. So that essentially is what online direct response marketing is, and how, the way that direct response marketers see the world, how we can use that to improve our businesses. Now, the common online channels that direct response marketing people would use would be direct mail. Okay, well, direct mail is not online, but anyway, this thing started old school anyway, with people sending out physical copies. Now, for those of us who went to school abroad, you'd be familiar with some of these runs. So, direct mail is letters that enter into your post box. Yes, Nigerians listening to the podcast right now in 2025, you'd be surprised to hear that, but yeah, there are people who live with post boxes. In fact, those of us who are 80s children, early 80s, late 70s, even ourselves, we grew up with post boxes. So I remember back then, I follow my father. He would go to the post office and unlock the post office, the PO box, and see what else that he has got there. There was never anything exciting for the children anyway, but stuff aimed at adults. Maybe like people trying to sell insurance, or maybe companies paying out dividends and things like that. So, but anyway, that was back then. I can't remember the last time I saw a post office in Nigeria, not to talk of somebody having a PO box outside their own house. But sure, in other places where post office is still a thing and PO boxes are still a thing, letters, you can get in fact, let me use that example. So, like my father, I told you that one of the businesses that he started doing was he started selling cement. So, let's say there's another cement company that was coming in new into town. Let's say Okechukwu and Sons decides, Okechukwu and Sons, they start manufacturing cement or something, and they're looking for distributors. They do their research, and then they find out that in Abuja there are 5,000 people who are cement distributors, and they get their contact details. And let's say my father is one of them, and they get the PO box. Just drop a message there, and that could be some direct response marketing. So the message could be: are you tired of the poor returns that you get from Dangote? Connect with Okechukwu and Sons now. Call this number for the opportunity to make 5,000 naira more off of every single cement bag you sell. Call now. That could be the message. So my father goes. Remember, we're pretending that this is back in the 1980s. Opens the box. You see the letter, and like, okay, 5,000 naira more per cement bag. Okay, that sounds like it's a good deal. And then goes back to the house, go and unlock the phone, because back then they have to lock the phone, because if you just leave the phone there like that, the girls in the house, they'll just rack up the bills, calling boyfriends and stuff like that. So you lock the phone. So now you unlock the phone, and then you punch in the number, boom, 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 and then you call. Hello, Okechukwu and Sons, I got your mailer, blah, blah, blah. I'm interested. Then the conversation starts. So you see that is direct response marketing. Send this thing to this particular person and get him to call this number now. Let's see how this person can become a distributor. So direct mail, that's a channel that used to be used back in the old days. And then for those of you who are still in the UK or in America, catalogs, postcards, like Asda, for instance, those things that Asda will send to your house close to Christmas. They will send it straight to you that, for the Christmas season, 3,000 new products in store, something, 20% off with this coupon, buy now before so and so for, all those sorts of things. And then in Nigeria, businesses like, what's this thing called? Spa. Spa. Then there's this South African one. I can't remember. Is it Game or something? They are in this... they're in ShopRite. No, ShopRite. I think that's what it's called. So like Spa and ShopRite. So they do that as well. But instead of direct mail, what they do is when you're going into the shops during busy periods, they will now hand you the magazine that now has everything. The magazine that has everything there. And you now see that, okay, 50%, 20% off fridges if you buy a fridge before November 35th or something like that. So all of this is all direct mail stuff, but you can see that it's all direct response. The idea is you give the person this thing, and there's a promise that if the person should act now, this is what the person will benefit. Then for direct marketing, people also use email. You can send these messages to people in their email, buy now, subscribe, download this, click to learn more, all of that. And then telemarketing, when you call people up, I don't think you should try telemarketing in Nigeria because we are currently dealing with a 419 problem right now. So I think if you try telemarketing in Nigeria, when they answer the phone, I don't know. I don't think we're ready for telemarketing yet because the person will be like, is this a scammer? Is this a whatever? They will just cut the phone and then just block you. So I don't think it's worth it. We're probably not there yet. Then, of course, paid search in Google or social media advertising. So these are things that people do for direct response. So all of these things that we've said now regarding direct response, the big question is, how does all this relate to Spider-Man, to Peter Parker, a boy who is in Lagos, a graphic designer who's trying to make some money? How does all this relate? So, like I said at the top of the show, and I'm repeating again, direct response marketing is not my area of specialty. So consult a marketing professional. Because at this point, I'm just freestyling. So if you want much more targeted advice, go and consult a marketing professional. Tell him that, look, I was listening to a boy's podcast and this is what I heard about direct response marketing. Is it true? The guy will say yes. Then you can now discuss and say, okay, this is a business that I do. This is what I'm trying to achieve. If I want to do direct response marketing, how we apply it to my business. So go and talk to a direct response marketing specialist. However, we can toy around with the principles and let's see what we can figure out. So first off, I think that our boy, Peter Parker, Spider-Man, graphic designer, remember the whole thing was about flyers. That I will design 3 flyers for you for free. If you like, you pay. If you don't like, don't pay. But of course, we went over how risk reversal is good, but the whole thing is labor intensive. You might not make a lot of money, all those sorts of things. But this is what I think. I think that our boy Peter Parker, remember, targeting. He should have been more targeted. So he sent this thing out to me because he got my contact number on the internet and because he thought I was a photographer, even though I'm no longer in the business. I think Peter Parker should have been targeting people who use flyers like every day. Yeah, photographers need flyers. But truth of the matter is, photographers make flyers once in a while. The photographer might make flyer in January and then use the rest of the year to distribute. That's not... People like that don't really value flyers, in my own opinion. My guess, I could be wrong, and if I'm wrong, you guys, let me know. My guess is that maybe people in the restaurant business are people who need flyers. You go and drop your flyers, like what's this place called? Amala Hut. Yeah, there's one place in Apo, not far from where we live, Amala Hut. And truly, the place resembles Amala Hut. It's a buka, it's just that it was made in a modern setting, but it's basically a buka setting. So people like Amala Hut, creating flyers because they need to drum up publicity. People need to know that they are there. So I think Amala Hut is in Lagos, but people will not know that, okay, they now have a branch in Abuja. So Amala Hut, those people, they need flyers. This is me guessing, by the way. I don't know everything, and I don't pretend to know everything. So my guess is that people like Amala Hut, restaurants, they need that. Even if Peter Parker was going to do the people in the event space, I think event planners do flyers more than photographers. That's just my guess. So restaurant people, caterers, event planners, I'm thinking Peter Parker should have been targeting those people instead of targeting people like me, who might make flyers in January of 2024 and not bother again until 2025 or 2026. In fact, I've seen some photographers who have flyers that are up to 5 years old. It happens. So, in any way, sit down, talk to your spouse, talk to your boyfriend or girlfriend, talk to momsy, popsy, talk to your mentor, do some AI research. But either way, try and be more targeted. Don't just get the contact details of every single business person that you can find and then throw up this offer. So that is one thing that Peter Parker should have been doing. Should have been much more targeted. Then, once you target these people and you get their contact details, in my own opinion, I think you should have designed a flyer whether the flyer was physical or not. Okay, well, he reached out to me on WhatsApp, so the design should have been digital. Okay, no. Most people are not going to click on a link to download something, at least in Nigeria anyway. They don't know you, so they're not going to click on the link. Okay, you know what? Like I said, I'm not a direct marketing specialist, so just ignore. But the thing is, he should have reached out. Okay, if it's a business, yes, it will be physical flyers that he will take to those businesses, I think. And of course, catchy messaging, boost your businesses with eye-catching flyers, get a free quote plus 3 free designs, something like that. Direct response marketing, their messaging is always short, but, and straight to the point, and always benefit, because they want people to see one time and understand and get what the whole thing is about. So nothing flowery. I'm a graphic designer, something 15 years experience, this, that, specialize in this and aesthetic, this and no. As in just, as in just straight to the point. Boost your business, eye-catching flyers, get a free quote, 3 designs, blah, blah, blah. Click here now, call this, call this, email this, just straight to the point. Then I think that the scope you should have been using is, like I said now, 3 designs for free. But however, I think this should have been the catch. You should have said, these designs that we're making are for free, but however, you have to pay for the cost of printing the actual flyers. And then he would have now done a cost plus pricing strategy on the flyers. So in other words, if printing one individual flyer costs 5 naira, then maybe he will say each flyer costs 7 naira 50 kobo, and then minimum print is maybe 1,000 copies. Then the money he will get will now be 2 naira 50 kobo multiplied by 1,000. So forgive me, I'm not sure how much that's supposed to be. Anyway, so run the math. So that will be that kind of thing. So that way he'll be seeing some returns, no matter how small. And then also that would also make more sense as a land and expand strategy, so that the person does the designs for now, and the 3 designs, in quote, were free. But then for the printing of the flyers, you make some kobo or some naira on the flyers, but you're not too much at a loss. But then later on, when this person has seen the wonderful work that you do, you guys are now cool, you guys are now friendly, hopefully you can now do future work for the person at full value, where the person will now pay you your I'm not sure how much people charge now. Okay, let me just say 30k per design, or maybe 50k. Person will now charge you your 50k, per design, so that next year, if you design 3 designs for the person, that'll be 150k instead of doing it for free. Then, of course, another thing that I would recommend that our boy Peter Parker do, if he was trying this direct marketing approach, of course, because there are some people, it's not everybody that you end up doing business with. But remember what I said at the top of the episode, that for direct response people, what they want to do is they want to collect money now, or they want to collect contact details so that they will chase you for money tomorrow. So, of course, for Peter Parker, it would make sense to keep all the phone numbers, all the email addresses, all the whatever that you're able to generate as you are going from office to office, or as you're hitting up people in WhatsApp and things like that. So, so you can chase for your future marketing efforts. Then, apart from direct response marketing, since it seemed to me like Peter Parker... Sorry, one moment. Okay, sorry, a notification came up my phone. I just wanted to see who it was. I was hoping it was Credit Alert, but no, it wasn't, unfortunately. Where was I? So, apart from direct marketing, there's also a couple of things that Peter Parker could have done, since he needs money now. How will I call this thing? Okay, like a referral strategy or channel. Okay, channel is better. Channel strategy is a better way of doing it. Now, the idea behind a referral strategy or a channel strategy is you have a certain customer, and the customer, in using your product or service, usually has to deal with some people before or to deal with some people after. You just partner up with those people so that you guys can chase the market together. So back when I was in the game, wedding photographers would look for wedding planners to team up with. That is a channel strategy. It's something that Peter Parker could have done as well, since he needs money now. So Peter Parker could also have been sending messages to marketing agencies or marketing influencers and try and come up with some referral something. Now, look, you talk about marketing, or you have customers who are trying to work on some marketing, whatever. So when it comes to the designs, why don't you call me up so that I'm the one that will do all the graphic designs for the something. I won't charge you much, or you give me a commission, or I will give you a commission, or something. But all those conversations. So marketing agencies, marketing influencers, you reach out to them like, hey, this is me, this is what I do, I'm your boy, I'm available, let's see how we can run things. Then also printers. When I was in Lagos, that is something that I saw a lot. So graphic design people were affiliated with printers. So like you go to a printer shop and the guy might look at your design and say, okay, this is good, but this won't work, this won't work. How about you change this design, change that design? You say, but I don't have any graphic design. I say, no problem, I'll give you some numbers. Call this guy, call Kunle, or call Kemi, or call Adekunle. The three of them, they're equally good. Here, that's their phone number. Now, of course, when you call Kemi, Adekunle, or Fumi, or whoever, and you end up doing business with one of them, those guys give a cut back to the printer. So that's something I saw back when I used to live in Lagos, but that was donkey years ago. So Peter Parker could have done something like that as well. I think I've thrown enough around ideas, but when it comes to the direct response marketing thing, remember to talk to a specialist. But bottom line, these are some ideas that Peter Parker could have tried out that are less labor intensive than hitting up people on WhatsApp, and then you end up designing 5 designs for free for each person. I mean, that is a lot of work. Except if he's doing all his designs exclusively using AI. I'm thinking that it would take at least 30 minutes to do 5 designs for each people. So even if you hit up people on WhatsApp and then 5 people say yes, and then you're using 30 minutes for each person. So 30 minutes, that is 5 times 50, that's 150 minutes. 150 minutes is, how many hours is that? Anyway, do the math. You see that, that's a whole lot of work. So these are some other things that he could have done that might have been less labor intensive. And whether these ideas are good ideas or not good ideas, at least, hopefully, some of you might have learned a little bit about direct response marketing. And I hope that the gears are now beginning to turn in your head so you can see how you can apply this to your business. But whether you do direct response marketing or not, 3 things that we can do apply to our businesses that direct response marketing people like to do is this whole thing of call to action. Please, in your content, keep putting call to action in them. And this is my own call to action. Connect with me. The phone number is 080-6466-2140, country code +234. For those of you who are not Nigerian. And then connect with me on LinkedIn. The name to look for is Tavishima Ayede. I'm on YouTube under the same name as well. Also, you can focus on your ROI. Always make sure that if you're dropping money, if you're dropping 1 naira, at least let us be saying, 2 naira enter, or 1 naira 50 kobo enter in return. We should be focused on ROI. Then we should also have a targeted approach, because no direct response marketer is going to send out general message. They won't. So like the example that I gave about my father, no direct response person is going to start putting out flyers in the street that there's a new cement company in town. Are you interested? Call this number. Direct response marketers will do their research, will get their phone number, and they would have made sure that that thing would have ended up directly in my father's PO box, so that when he opens it, the message is targeted and relevant. It's not wasted. Because if that kind of if that kind of email ends up in Pastor Adebisi's box, Pastor Adebisi is a pastor. So him receiving this thing makes no sense. He won't even know if it's a good deal or a bad deal. But if it ends up in Mr. Ayede's inbox, because my father did cement distribution, or it ends up in Malam Danlami's PO box, because Malam Danlami makes bricks, or maybe he also distributes cement. Those kind of people, when they open it and they say, okay, 5,000 per extra bag, they know whether this is a good offer or whether it's a bad offer. And those are the kind of people that will be much more likely to pick up the phone and take action. or go to the office and take action, or visit the factory and take action. So let's keep our communications targeted. Let's look at different customer segments. Let's make sure that our messaging is relevant. That's what it is. That's what makes it easier or much more probable for people to take action when we put calls to action at the end of whatever messages that we send out. So that's all for today. Thank you very much for listening to the show. I'll catch you guys at the next episode.